Mind your own beeswax. Hey, counting up. Lean back. Yeah.
Episode 1, let's do this thing. Are you excited? I'm excited. I feel like I've been talking about this and thinking about this and imagining my first episode for years and years now. And to finally be here, it feels right. Hopefully you're feeling the same vibes. I'm so excited to be doing this podcast. It's actually something on my vision board. I'm looking at my vision board right now and I've got photos of podcasters on there, and here I am doing exactly that. How are you going and how are you feeling right now? I hope 2026 has been off to a good start. I feel like for me, 2026 has been a bit of a weird vibe. I think I came into the start of the year all guns blazing, and that has not been the vibe. I feel like I've been really called to just rest and take it easy. So it's been a bit of a slow start, but hopefully 2026 has been good for you. And maybe, I'm dreaming big here, but maybe you're listening to this podcast in the future. Maybe it's 2030 and I'm a successful podcaster now and you're going back listening to all my old material. Hello from the past. I hope that this podcast lives on for years and adds value to so many people and helps change your lives. Before I get into it, I feel like I've got to give a bit of context. Who am I? Maybe you know me, maybe you don't. Either way, you're probably thinking, why? Why do we have another self-development podcast? Do we really need another one in the world? Yes, we do. I have wanted to do a podcast for such a long time, and yeah, there are a lot of podcasts out there. Every man and his dog has a podcast at the moment. But you know what? A bit of a download that I've had recently is that the only thing I have to offer this world is myself, right? I can't be or do anything else. All I can do is be myself, and that is unique. And so therefore my message is going to be unique to me. I've been on a self-development journey for 8 years now, and in that time I've changed my life. I have so many things that I'm really excited to share with you. But the real reason that has inspired all of this and inspired me to share my message is that a lot of the books and podcasts I've read over the last 8 years, they just feel so unauthentic, or they feel so high level, reach for the stars vibes. I just don't feel like the average person can achieve that, how many podcasts out there are there where they're like, I manifested $1 million in my first year of business. And I feel like, well, I work a full-time job, as do 99% of people, I don't know. And even people that have their own businesses, if you're a hairdresser, how are you going to make $1 million in a year? I feel like there's just a lot of this crazy shit. And I love to hear it, right? Who doesn't want to hear about someone manifesting $1 million or a G-Wagon or a fucking first-class trip to the Bahamas? Whatever, I'm here for that. But I really feel like for me, these things have worked on a smaller scale. One time I manifested money and I got $600. Hello, that's amazing. I have done manifesting and practiced the law of attraction to travel to my dream destination, New York. I've done it to renovate my home, to get a new job, to increase my salary. Those are all the things that are super achievable and that are going to make your life better. They're nothing crazy, but they are the things that are going to change your life. I want this podcast to be realistic, to be raw, to be a little bit funny, hopefully, and to just share things that the everyday person can apply to their life and just make your life better and easier. I'm not here to sell you some crazy dream about manifesting 7 figures or first-class flights, which also, if those things happen, please let me know. I hope they do. But we're just here to live a good life, a happy life, and to make the most of what we've got. So let's get into it. We are here to talk about gratitude. I love gratitude. It's my number one thing. It has changed my life. On my journey over the last 8 years, I've honestly stuck with gratitude. I've done it every single day. And that is the thing that has made the biggest difference. Now, for me, gratitude is all about a mindset. It's not about meditating, writing a long list, fucking getting an app or nothing. Gratitude is like really easy for me because it's a mindset and it's something that I can tap into when life is good, or I can tap into it when shit hits the fan and times are tough. So, how does this work? When I'm in a shit situation, right? Things are bad, the vibes are off, I'm struggling. I can tap into gratitude and realize that there's a lot to be grateful for. It helps me shift my focus. So maybe I realize the situation is not that bad, or maybe I realize, okay, here's what I've learned from this situation, here's how I'm going to get out of it. So gratitude is really helpful in a negative situation. Equally, when the vibes are high, gratitude is so important, When you're on that trip, maybe you're in Bali, you're floating in the pool, you got a bintang in hand. When you have gratitude, you can go, fuck, this is the best day of my whole life, It makes you have perspective and you go, God, I'm grateful for being here. I'm grateful for everything that I have. I'm grateful for everything that's led to this moment. I'm so grateful to myself. I'm grateful for the money I have right now, the family, the friends, whatever it is. Gratitude is incredible. It makes the good times even better and it helps you get through and get out of the shit times. Now, how do we make gratitude a mindset for you? I want to encourage you to just start with one single thought a day. If you can have one grateful thought a day, every day, one will eventually become more and more and more, and it will help it become a habit. And once it's a habit, you can tap into it whenever you like. So what is the easiest way to start with our one grateful thought a day? If you have a phone, which I guarantee that you do, especially if you're listening to my episode right now, open up your reminder app, or if you have like a widget that you can put on your home screen, open up that. But you want to set this reminder that's going to pop up on the home screen of your phone, like the screen when you need to swipe to open it, and it needs to say, what am I grateful for right now? Or what are you grateful for right now? However you want to word it, you want to prompt yourself to ask, what am I grateful for? Now, this works because, unfortunately, and I'm guilty of this, there's a statistic that we look at our phone screens over 100 times a day, like disgusting, right? Whether you're checking a message, checking the time, we're all addicted to our phones and we look at that fucking so many times. But this is why it works. In the book Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about habit stacking. And so this is a habit that you're already doing. You don't have to make any extra time or effort. You'll see this notification and you go, oh, what am I grateful for right now? I definitely recommend having this notification pop up at the same time every single day. So maybe you have your lunch break at the same time every day. Maybe it's when you wake up, maybe it's in the evening, whenever feels right. And I actually have my notification just like permanently there. I never swipe it away. So it pops up every day, but it's never swiped away. So when you look at your phone and you see this notification, you just pause for a second. You go, what am I grateful for? And think whatever just comes to mind. Maybe you're grateful that you have a phone. Maybe you're grateful that you're at home. Maybe you're grateful you're in the car. Maybe you're grateful it's a sunny day. Maybe you're grateful for the rain. Maybe you're having a nice coffee. You're grateful for your coffee. Just like whatever comes to mind. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to overthink it. Just think something and move on. You're at least having that one thought a day. And this is where it becomes a habit, right? Every time you look at your phone, you see this notification, you practice gratitude. And then throughout the day, because you're thinking about it, you'll probably think it more. Maybe you're driving the car and you just go, what am I grateful for right now? Maybe you're waiting in line for your lunch. What am I grateful for right now? Having this notification will help prompt you to think regularly. And every time you see it, you'll have your grateful thought. And this is where the magic happens. Just start small, start easy. All you need is a notification on your phone. Don't overthink it. It doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of effort. But I guarantee you, long term, this will help build habits. Okay, part 2. This is my favorite hack. I absolutely love it and I feel like it's just a really nice way to end the day. So now that you've got that notification set up on your phone, you want to get a sticky note and put the sticky note by your bed. And on this sticky note, you want to write, what was the best part of your day? You want to see that sticky note and then think, what was the best part of your day? But when you think about the best part of your day, you have to sort of flick back. And when I do, I sort of think from morning, midday to evening. And I think, well, what are all the things that happened today? And so maybe you're flicking back and you go, okay, had a nice coffee. That was good. And then, I drove to work and I listened to a good podcast. Yeah, that was nice. And then at work, oh, me and so, we had that laugh in the kitchen. That was so funny. And then, oh, for dinner, fuck, I made those chips in the air fryer. God, they were good. So you flick back and you think about all the great things happened that day. And maybe, like I said, maybe the best part of your day was having some yummy chips in the air fryer. That's fine. But doing this, it makes you realize that there were actually a lot of great things that happened that day. And when you acknowledge that, that's the feeling of gratitude when you go, oh, that was really nice. That's gratitude because you're so grateful that that thing happened. I love this practice. I highly recommend it. You can do it, you can even do it around the dinner table with your family. If you have a partner, you can turn to your partner and ask them what the best part of their day was. I really love it. And when you go to sleep at night, you're on this high vibe. You're thinking about, well, this day actually was really good. And maybe you had a rough day. Maybe it was a shitty day, a busy day, whatever. But there's always something to be grateful for. And by doing that and acknowledging that, it really helps to shift the energy of the day, Maybe you had a really busy, chaotic day and you're fucking so over it. But you're like, well, I'm home. I'm in bed now. I am so grateful I have this bed. Oh, it's so comfy. My pillows are so nice. Oh, I've got this nice eye mask. I love my bed. That is such a great way to end the day and feel grateful for. And as you fall asleep, you're then in this beautiful positive energy, an energy of gratitude. You're probably going to have really nice dreams and you're going to wake up the next day in that vibe of gratitude. I love doing this. I turn to my partner every night and I say to him, what was the best part of your day? And look, he's not a woo-woo girly like me. He will often say, the best part of my day was coming home from work. And I mean, that's a bit of a lame answer, honestly. But when I hear him say that, it makes me think, well, you know what? How good that we have a home that we live in together that he can come to and he feels safe and he feels happy here. And being here is the best part of his day. And hearing his answer, fuck, that makes me feel so grateful. And it's something his answer is just super short and simple, but it really makes me feel gratitude. Does he always ask me what the best part of my day was? No, he doesn't ever ask me back. But I just tell him anyway because that's what I'm like. And honestly, a lot of the time for me, I will often say the best part of my day was a good Pilates workout in the morning, or maybe I went for a walk, or I try and look at the sunset every night, seeing that often, or I made a really nice dinner. Those are really mundane things. I'm not living some crazy life. I'm not doing anything wild. But it's so nice to just reflect and think fuck, that was a nice day. I have a lot to be grateful for. And doing this practice, this is really easy gratitude, right? When you feel those good feelings, that's gratitude. It's super easy. I highly, highly recommend you do those things. Hopefully now you've got your sticky note by your bed and you've set the reminder in your phone. I feel like I do have to touch on the fact that gratitude can be really hard to practice in tough times. And when you're in a bad situation or the vibes are just off, gratitude sometimes is the last thing you feel like doing. I really encourage you to have a crack. And I want to tell you about a time in my life when the vibes were off and gratitude it turned that shit around. So I was in this job that was horrible. I hated this job. I was carrying a real chip on my shoulder because I had a uni degree. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I have a uni degree. Why am I working this entry-level, shit-kicking job? Why am I here? I didn't want to be here. I didn't like the work. It just was awful. It paid minimum wage. And I think back now and I'm like, I should have just gone and worked in retail or hospitality and I honestly would have earned more money. But this day came at this job and I just spiraled. I feel like I really let myself go. I was unhealthy. Just all areas of my life, the vibes were low. And I look back at photos of myself then and I'm like, I was just a totally different person then. But anyway, this one day happened and my boss at the time said to me, you are a shit kicker. And they were trying to say that in the way that I had to do all the shitty jobs and just get shit done around the place. But what an awful thing to say to someone. Sorry, I was in my early 20s, don't say that to anybody. That just was horrible. And I remember I told my mom, I was like, Mom, home. They said I'm a shit kicker. Like, it just like, oh, I think back on like the trauma. I hated it. And maybe you're listening and you're in a shitty job, or, you know, maybe you will be one day. I don't know. I feel like we all go through bad jobs, but I'm grateful at the time that I learned about writing gratitude lists. So I thought, right, here we go. I'm going to write a gratitude list, and this is going to help me get a new job. Because at the time I was reading The Secret, and in The Secret, they say that if you practice gratitude for what you've got, you'll get more good things. So I thought, right, quick math, gratitude equals a new job. But fuck me dead, it was so hard. When you're in a bad situation, it is so hard to find things to be grateful for. So I would try and think these things at my desk, and then at night I would write them in my journal. So I would always write, well, you know what, I get paid to be here, so I'm grateful for the money I earn, even though it was shit. I'm grateful that I have some good friends at work, right? How good are friends when you're in a shit job and you can just fucking bitch to each other and like have a laugh? Like, they were my savior. So I'm grateful for the money I earn. I'm grateful for the friends that I have. Well, I've learnt to use Excel, I guess. I'm grateful that I know how to use Excel. I'm grateful that I've become good at customer service. I'm grateful I've learnt about warehousing. I'm grateful I've got a lot of confidence now. I'm really grateful that I'm super confident. I'm grateful that I'm really tough. I'm grateful that I'm never going to have a job as shit as this ever again. And the more that I sort of like tried to find things to be grateful for, it actually made me realize, like, hang on, even though this was an awful job, like, I have come out the other side of this like really tough, really confident, like a totally different person. It really had pushed me to just toughen up and become confident. And so I stuck with this, and I would practice gratitude a lot, and I would even write gratitude lists about specific people. Like, someone would piss me off and I'm like, right, I'm going to write a gratitude list about how grateful I am for this person, which seems crazy, but I mean, it obviously worked because I had been there for years, and the whole time I'd been applying for other jobs and I just had no luck. And after a few months of this gratitude, I actually finally got 2 job offers. But they were great jobs, right? But they weren't like amazing. And so I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I turned them both down. And I sort of thought like something better will come along. And something better did come along. And I had this interview, and I remember I just like nailed it. I felt so proud of myself. I felt like I really was able to just sell myself. I had so much confidence. Like, it was one of the best interviews I feel like I'd ever done. I obviously got the job, I quit, I got this new job, it was the best job ever, I loved it. I just like now looking back, I'm like, there is no way I would have got that job had I have not practiced gratitude. And it was because I had practiced gratitude. The gratitude had given me perspective, and then it gave me the confidence to sell myself. And I just think like that's insane, like how gratitude, honestly, I feel like I didn't believe it, that like practicing gratitude would really bring new things into my life, but it did. And it's not like magic by any means. It's that practicing gratitude gave me perspective gave me confidence helped me sell myself, and because I could sell myself, I got an epic new job. So I encourage you, if you are in a shitty situation, maybe you're in an unhappy relationship, maybe you're in a toxic job, maybe you have someone in your family that's just like grinding your gears. Maybe you're in a home and your house is just like falling apart, it needs renovating. Whatever the situation is, try and write a gratitude list. Try and type it in your phone, write it on a sticky note, or just think it in your head and really stick with it. Keep doing it every single day. And I guarantee the situation will get better. Maybe it'll totally resolve, or maybe you will have a new perspective and realize, oh, this isn't actually that bad. I hope that little example of me and my shitty job that I had really shows you how powerful gratitude can be. I think back to those times, and I honestly, that's why I wanted this podcast first episode to be about gratitude, because I was like, that shit works. Take it from me, I've tried it and it has changed my life. Anytime now anything it's slightly inconvenient happens in my life, I'm like, okay, quick, what can I be grateful for? This will help. And I did this the other week. I had an argument with my partner. I don't even know what it was about. But we had an argument. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to Woolies and like do the groceries for the week. I'll get out of the house. So I was gone for like 20 minutes, and then I was driving home. I was literally around the corner. I was like, oh, I don't want to fight anymore. Like, how do I, when you just like had an argument and like, you just got this like cloud over your head and you're like, oh, I just want to move on. And so I was like, well, Grace, come on, let's think of what we can be grateful for. I was driving up my street and I was like, well, I'm grateful that I have a car. I'm grateful that it's a nice, beautiful day. It's a blue sky. I'm grateful that I have a house. I'm grateful that I can live with my partner. I'm grateful I'm healthy. I'm grateful he's healthy. I'm grateful for these groceries I have in the car. Oh, I'm grateful for the dogs. They'll be so happy when I get home. And it just sort of like helped me shift my energy. And I was like, oh, everything's fine. I'm all good. Don't worry about it. And, I got home and we never even remembered what the argument was about. We just went about our lives. But practicing gratitude for me, I was in this like bad vibe, and then it helped me shift into a good vibe. And maybe if I hadn't done it, I would have rocked up home and, when you're still a bit like, ugh, from an argument, maybe I would have had another argument. Maybe I just would have like been a bit sulky for the rest of the day. But it really helped me super quickly to just change the energy. So, next time that you're feeling a bit low or a bit sad, can you think about some things to be grateful there and then and see, how do you feel after you feel gratitude? What's the emotion you're feeling beforehand? Maybe it's sadness, anger, frustration. Practice your gratitude, and then afterwards check in and think, okay, well, how do I feel now? Do I feel lighter? Do I feel better? Maybe, whatever the bad emotion is, if you're feeling a bit frustrated, like if on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad's your frustration? So maybe you're feeling like, 5 or a 6. You have your grateful thoughts, and then check in with yourself again after that and you think, well, how is it feeling now? Maybe I'm down to like a 2 or a 3. I think that's so good. Like, really test out, how does practicing gratitude in these situations, how does it make you feel? I guarantee you it will make you feel better. And once you have that first time of like practicing it and getting a result or feeling yourself change, that's when you get hooked and you're like, shit, yeah, this works. I'm going to do it all the time. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, we get a bit hooked on getting a result, and you need to see a result. It's like you got to feel it to believe it, right? So try it and see, does it work for you? I promise it will. But when you do that and you can shift your mood, I feel like that's when you get addicted and you realize it does work. Let's do it again and again and again. And like I said, one day, if you keep practicing gratitude, it will just become your default, your mindset. It will be so easy. Thank you so much for joining me on this first episode. This is my first go at podcasting. I really don't know what I'm doing, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that sharing my story and sharing those 2/3 little hacks and ideas, I hope that you try them, and I hope that the next time you're in a bad situation or the vibes are off, you can lean into gratitude, and I hope that it really changes the vibe for you and changes your whole life, Thank you so much for being here. It means a lot that you've made it to the end of this episode, and it means a lot that you've listened. 2026 is my year of podcasting, so I hope that this is the first of many, many episodes. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I hope that doing this changes my life, changes your life. Right now, I think this is my 26th time recording this. I was literally just like banging my head on the desk. I was like, come on, bitch. Like, let's just get this shit out there. Like, come on, let's just do it. And it's so funny that I feel like you're always like waiting for the perfect episode. You're waiting for the right time. It's not like that. I feel like if I can be honest here, I got a psychic on Etsy to like give me a reading. Hear me out. I know. I can hear people like rolling their eyes like Etsy psychics. But she said to me in her psychic reading that stop waiting for the right time. It's never going to be perfect. So here I am. It's Etsy psychic. Thank you for your advice. I'm doing just that. And by no means is this episode perfect, but I'm here doing it anyway. And hopefully one day it will be perfect, or maybe it'll never be perfect. And that's my thing. Imperfection equals success. I don't know. But I hope you have a great week. Thank you for joining me. I can't wait to talk to you again on my next episode. Love you. Bye.
Mind your own beeswax.